Good morning, good morning. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. Hope everyone is well and staying safe out there. And today we're going to talk about decision making when pulling a weapon. And I'm going to tell y'all a story that happened to me last night. I went out. I normally don't go out after dark, but I was cooking dinner. And my friend, she wanted to get to the store because she doesn't drive. So she wanted to get to the store so she can get some things that she couldn't get, say, from Instacart or anywhere else. So, that's what friends do. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go out. Well, last night, we had went to McDonald's together. And everything was fine. Then I left McDonald's, and then my child called me and said, Mom, can you get me such and such and such? We share locations. So she knew where I was. And by that point, though, I had already left McDonald's. But I said, okay, I'm going to go back. So when I go back, after dropping my friend off, a situation occurred. And I'm going to tell y'all my steps to that situation. And then I will tell y'all a situation that happened in California that I'm very disappointed about. I pulled up, ordered my stuff. We always have these homeless people walking around. This is why I try to help them, to help others that may not make the right decision. Okay? So I told the guy walked up on me on the side of my car, which is very scary when a person walk up on the side of your car because they can bust your window. They can start doing craziness, and you're in line. You're blocked in a line. This is why I never like to go into a drive-through. Okay, I always go inside, but of course it was late. People was trying to get food, and we were all piled up in the drive-thru waiting, and we pull up in back of each other, and it was unsafe. Okay, I had already put myself in an unsafe situation by being in the drive-thru. This is why I like to go in. I don't mess with drive-thrus too often. If I have to be in the drive-thru, I won't get the food. My daughter, of course, she's going to pressure me. Mommy, please, let's go through the drive-thru. But she doesn't know how unsafe the drive-thru can really be. Okay? And me as a very, very safe person, try to be safe and keep myself out of situations, I'd rather get out my car and walk in than to be stuck in a drive-thru around a bunch of people and I can't save myself if something was to happen. So I'm in this drive-thru, and cars are in back of me, cars are in front of me. And this guy, he's walking on the side of my car, and he looked at me, and I said, look, I don't have anything. I don't have nothing, And I thought I didn't have no $1 bills on me. But, what they do is when I'm out doing Instacart and stuff, or when I was doing Amazon delivery, they would give me tips. So I always take those tips. At first I started saving them, but I don't very rarely get cash. So what I do is I'll keep it on me just in case I see a homeless person that needs something to eat, or they need something. So I give it to them. Well, when I told him that I didn't have anything, he kept staring at me. He might have known who I was. However, I wasn't taking a chance. So I put my weapon on the seat, and I kept my hand there. And he just kept looking. So he must have had a feeling that I had my weapon on my seat. Okay, he saw me, fumbling around, and then he saw my hand, put my hand on the seat, and I put my hand there. So he walks up to the next car. I guess he said, she might be dangerous, so I'm not going to mess with her. Okay. That whole scenario was a deterrent for him because he kept walking, but he kept looking back. So at that point, he might have felt like his life was feared. He was fearing his life at that moment. So he kept looking back at me, or he could have known me. So I don't know what scenario it was, but I take it as he was fearing his life because he saw me put my hand on the seats. Okay, and it became a deterrent for him, like, okay, I'm going to leave her alone. So he goes to the next car. Then he's in the McDonald's window. So I said, something just told me to fill up in my bra. I keep my stuff in my bra. I'm going to tell you why I keep my stuff in my bra. If anybody ever try to rob me, they're going to get 2 charges, not 1. And 1 charge would be for fondling me. Okay? And the other crime would be robbery. Okay? So anybody that try to rob me, they're getting 2 crimes. They're not getting 1. But anyway, he started messing with the car ahead of me. So I don't know who's in the car ahead of me, but I know they're scared because they're trying to look straight, and not, but you can't look straight. This is the thing, people. You can't look straight. I know you figure like, okay, I just look straight and then that way they won't bother me. No, they'll bother you even more because you're not giving them attention. And what they want something. Okay, just like a baby. What a baby would do. Continue to bother you until they get the attention that they need. So I said, okay, I see this person up there looking straight. They got their window closed. He's trying to get into the window of the McDonald's. So I'm like, you know what? Let me end this right now. So I said, hey, come here. You hungry? Are you hungry? You want to eat? I said, come here. So I gave him $3. No, I said, what's the problem? And he said, I'm trying to get some money for in the morning. I heard that story before, from a few people. So I'm like, okay, well, here's $3. You got some money for in the morning. I don't know what you're going to use it for. If you're going to get something to eat or you're going to take a bus or whatever you're going to do, but here's $3. So then he says, well, can you buy me some fries? I said, look, you see, this is all I got. And I'm in the line trying to get something to eat. I said, I'm trying to eat too. I said, just because you see me in a car and I look pretty decent don't mean that I got all this money. I'm trying to eat too. I'm hungry. Can I eat? And he just looked at me and put his head down. Yeah, I just gave you $3. If you want fries, go buy you some. I just gave you money. You want what I gave you and fries. I mean, like, how ungrateful. Now, when I get these white people money out here, because we have a lot of white homeless people, they never beg for more than what I give them. But of course, it had to be my kind. That really pissed me off. Begging for more than what I said that I'm giving you. Okay? Be grateful for what I give you. So anyway, I still got my hand, as I'm talking to him, I still got my hand on the seat, and he's watching me. And I'm watching him. I'm looking at his belt. Make sure he ain't got no weapons and no gun, because if I would have saw him pull, of course I would have attacked. That is the way I'm trained, okay? But before I attack, I have to look at the whole situation. This is why I tell people, don't be afraid to look at the predator, okay? You have to watch the predator. Because if you don't, they may do anything. Okay, so now, he got tired of me. And I was happy he got tired of me. And went on about his business. So I shut my door, locked it, the person, while all of that was going on, the person in front of me got their food and was out of there. And I went up to the window and got mine and went on too. But I'm telling you this story, when things doesn't seem right, you have to pay attention, people. You have to pay attention. Don't just ignore it because you're saying, okay, if I just be quiet, they won't. No, sometime they will snap out because you're not paying them any attention. It's better to just tell them, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. And if you have an extra $1 or $2, maybe offer it. Or, hey, do you want some food? I could possibly spare $2 for some fries or whatever the case may be. Because most of the time, them homeless people, not all people, but sometimes, especially these young ones, okay, they be on drugs, okay? And them drugs act crazy in their brains, okay? And they might react differently from a man that's standing on the corner saying, hey, I'm homeless, I need a dollar or two. So you got to choose your battles. It's hard, but if you want to be safe, and there's nothing we can do until we can get these homeless people off the street, and I do apologize for the state of North Carolina and Charlotte for not knowing how to get these homeless people off the street. And right now we're going to teach them. It's not going to be an overnight thing until I get what I need to help them get off the street. To make our streets safer after 10 p.m. Okay. But we're working. Not all the homeless people out there is bad. Some of them are very good people. Some were veterans. Some had good jobs. Everybody that's homeless is not bad. But we have to choose our battles, okay, on where and who we decide to help. And the other thing is, North Carolina informed me that our disabled, okay, it's not much they could do with the disabled anymore because I'm only hearing from what the judge told me here in North Carolina. Did she tell me the truth about all states? I don't know. However, this is what the judge told me here in North Carolina. That they have no place to put the disabled. So they're allowed to run free, walk free. And if we have to protect ourselves, we have to protect ourselves. In other words, if they do something irrational to harm us, excuse me, we can lay them down. Okay? To me, that doesn't sit well, okay? And I'm saying to myself, I know Maryland didn't make that law in their state. They couldn't have because they got a big old building in Ellicott City for them, you know what I mean? So I know they didn't make that law, and that building ain't went nowhere. New York also got Bellevue, a few other places that we put the disabled, so I'm like, and that must only be here in North Carolina. She didn't know that I lived in state to state, she didn't know. So I said, nah, that can't be right. But if that's the laws here in North Carolina, guess what? They have to change because we cannot walk up against the disabled that mine is not correct and we are put in a situation to where we might have to kill this person because their mind is not right. Okay, so yes, things have to change. Okay, and I'm working hard every day finding different companies, nonprofit companies to help me get what I need to get, and that's placement for these vets and placement for these disabled people, mentally disabled, so they won't roam the street and put people in fear. No one wants to live in fear when they're outside in nature. Okay? No one. We want to be free. Okay? Now I'm going to get to the story that I read, Charlotte Observer. They posted a story regarding a young lady, a child getting shot by a police officer in L.A. in Burlington Coat Factory. Okay, now we know Burlington Coat Factory, most of them have 2 floors, most of them. You go upstairs. That's the way they design them. And I don't know if the suspect had a gun, I don't know what transpired. Whatever I read, is what I went by. However, at this point, it doesn't matter if he had a gun or not. The officer shot. So it kind of, kind of pissed me off. And I'm going to tell you why. But on the bad side of that was the civilians obeying the officer's commands. So that's what I'm worried about, okay? My job is to let the civilians know the law and the rules, okay? That's my job. That's what Private Friend Incorporated does, okay? We give the facts, okay? Once an officer is on scene with a suspect, if he's not buying coffee, donuts, McDonald's, whatever, because we can't be totally afraid every time we see him. You got to watch. This is why you got to watch people. You have to look. You can't be straight like a zombie. You have to look around in your surroundings, okay? The officer walks in and there's a suspect. If he's not walking up to the counter to try to buy something, or because sometimes their officers will be quiet when they just following a suspect. Once you see an officer look back and forth or look in one direction, you ought to step out of his way immediately. The moment that officer says, clear the area, we are to give that officer 10 feet. Even if we all have to crowd up in a pile in one corner. Okay, that's the way it works. Now, if this particular suspect wasn't holding nobody hostage in this Burlington Coal Factory, which the exiting is terrible. That's why I don't shop at Burlington Coal Factory. I shop nowhere where it's only one way out. And I'm sorry, Burlington, that's just me, okay? And I have to tell my people, your design of how you designed your stores was not appropriate for me. That's why I don't buy from you too often. Once in a blue, I'll go in there and I have to say a prayer before I walk through the door. That's the other thing, people. Any place you walk in, you must look for all exits before you start your shopping. That's like, okay, granted, I used to work at the Family Dollar up the street. Okay? Matter of fact, both of them. So I personally know the exits because I worked there in the past. Okay? While it's kept, I think I worked at almost every store in the Charlotte area. Almost every store. Okay? Because of the type of work that I do. So I've been in almost every store in Charlotte. So I know where the exits are. And if it's my first time at a store, I'm going to look and find the exit. My problem is, why was this young girl, able to catch a stray bullet? Police officers are not supposed to fire their gun unless they have a direct shot at the suspect. Or they have the right to shoot us. But they must have a direct shot. So how did this little girl get a stray bullet? Was the officer scared? So his aim was off? Was he sick? Not feeling well? Or were the people too close to him? They said the body cam was on. I would love to see the body cam. Because without seeing the body cam, I know for a fact that the people were too close to him and too close to the suspect. So his gun shouldn't have been drawn at all to even take a shot. If this suspect had a gun pointed at him, he was supposed to try to talk that guy down. See, this is why, y'all always say, oh, they send 10 cops or 3 or 4 cops to a scene. Why? That doesn't make any sense. You only need 1 cop. The reason why they send cops, a lot of cops, and I'm going to tell you why right now. So stuff like what happened in Burlington don't happen. One cop should have been talking the suspect down while the other cop is clearing the area. Everybody has a job to do during a major event like that. Then you got another cop that might be calling for backup. Meanwhile, all their lives are on the line because they don't know the next move of the suspect. This is why they travel in packs. They have no other choice because people put them in situations. Civilians put them in situations and they want to go home too. Granted, yeah, they signed up to serve and protect, but they want to go home too. So, when they speak and say, hey, clear the area. We need you to clear the area. Back up, clear the area. We have a suspect. You must obey what the officer is asking you to do. Now, I've seen some videos where an officer took a guy in custody and then turned around and asked the guy to do some oral sex on him. Now, if an officer's doing something like that, no, you don't have to obey him. However, if an officer, and it's a lot of other stories that I can give y'all why the officers lost respect of the people and why they don't listen. Because of the bad police officers. It's like we got good people, we got bad people. No matter what organization it's in, it's always good and bad. Some people use their power for negative, and some people use their power for good. Just like myself. I have power, but I use my power for good. You have to make that choice. Because when you get caught up after using your power for bad, it not only destroy you, but it destroys your whole, whoever uniform you got on, it destroys them as well. Okay? I had to tell my old boss at Frito-Lay, I told him, I said, when I wear this Frito-Lay on my shirt, I represent not just the Charlotte zone. I represent every Frito-Lay in the United States or in any other country. So when I come out here to work, I think about that. So I try to give my best in all I do, because I don't only represent Charlotte. I represent every state that wears this shirt. So I have to think about the way I do things. I have to think about the way I handle myself and handle business. But he didn't understand that. Because, this is my theory. When a person don't understand about respecting a brand, all they think about is themselves and their paycheck. And that's how they feel they're there. They just there for a paycheck. Frito-Lay stopped paying people top dollar because the new people that's been coming in don't respect the brand. If you can't respect the brand that you work for, no matter how much you hate that job, you don't deserve to be there. And that's any brand. Even with my brand, Private Friend Incorporated, I have to respect my brand. When I walk around Charlotte with my jacket on, and my jacket says Private Friend Incorporated is on top. Then you got Miss JJ Entertainment and then Miss JJ Diamond. I have to respect how I deal with people because they see that name and it's a brand. And when I see people, and when people see me, I want them to be able to say, that's a good brand. And as I move on from state to state, I want the people that work for me to do the same. Sometimes we might have to get a little ugly and a little crazy because of the people that we deal with. But overall, the brand sticks to what the brand says it is. And that's peace. Like yesterday when I was in line and the guy was messing with the person in front of me, and you could tell they didn't want to be bothered because they was looking straight, and I'm watching them and I'm saying, now, as my job being in that line, I needed to create peace because that's what we stand for. And like I said, I forgot I had my little dollars. Only had a couple of little dollar ones, So I said, this is my call right here. Hey, come here. Leave that person alone. Let me get him out of here. Because this person in front of me is fearing their life. He might be fearing his life of me. And I'm fearing my life of him. There was no peace in that whole circle. So now I have to create the peace. That's what Private Friend Incorporated does. We create the peace. When we can't create the peace, we turn it over to the authorities and let them do what they need to do. Do I hang out with the authorities? No. But they still there to serve and protect. I just create the peace before I have to involve them and it get real ugly. Because they are not peaceful. Okay, they sometimes it can get real ugly when the authorities come about. So we try to create the peace before that happens. Because their job is if somebody's acting crazy or erratic, they try to talk them down, but if they can't talk them down, it ends up in them either going to jail, them being shot or killed. It ends up bad. It's not peaceful. So this is why I'm there as a deterrent to save some of these people's lives from going to jail or not even going to jail, getting killed. I don't know what that guy theory was. Because if he was looking in the McDonald's window, if he would have attacked one of the McDonald's workers, he would have went to jail that night. He might not only went to jail, he might have got shot that night. He might have lost his life that night. 1,000,001 scenarios could have took place that night. We have to pay attention. Now, I'm going to use Maryland, for instance. I lived in Harford County, Maryland, for 12 and a half years. No, actually 12 years. Because I moved there in August of 2005, and I left in July 2016. So actually 12 years. Harford County is very peaceful. Don't get me wrong, people get shot. People get hurt, but it's very peaceful. We walk around free. The homeless people hide. We didn't even know we had homeless people. They live up a bridge and up under bridges. They live. Sometime you'll find them in the post office when the post office closed. They'll go sleep in there. The homeless people never were seen. They even would go to the parks and go deep into the trees and live there. You would never see them. You know why? Because Harford County don't allow it. But the area is peaceful, so you won't get hurt. Okay? Unless you're out there in the streets. Most of the time, in Harford County, most of the people are indoors by no later than 10 p.m. For one, they got to work the next day. So, they're in the house. So our sheriffs in Harford County by, late at night, they really don't have much to do unless something really crazy goes on. Somebody's robbing somebody's house trying to, or somebody got drunk and got crazy. But you don't see many people on the street too much after 10, 11 the most. It's like a ghost town. And I loved living there. Because we created our peace in our homes. That's what we did. Our peace was at home. If we went somewhere like to do something to the casino or an event in Baltimore, at the water, once we left those events, we went home. It was no lurking around the streets. This is what we did. And then we went home. We drank at home. Let me tell y'all what Harford County, Maryland, do to you. Or I don't know if the whole state does it, but I know met some people in Harford County that had the issue. Say they get a DUI. That's a driving while intoxicated. Wait a minute, let me get it together. DWI? When you're not supposed to use drugs in drinking and driving. Okay, I can't remember. It's DWI or DUI. I never had one, so I don't know. However, y'all know what I'm talking about. People would get so crazy with it. Okay? You get a warning unless you're very intoxicated. But they have it everywhere. I know everywhere you go, don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive. You see it everywhere. The judges puts them on some type of program where you have to blow into some type of machine in order to start your car. I said, whoa. You can't drive your own car because you're intoxicated. I mean, it's a good thing, but I'm glad they mastered it. To keep, excuse me, to keep the people that's driving intoxicated off the road. Because drunk drivers kill. So you have to blow into that thing. I've seen a couple of people do it. They're like, okay, wait, now I have to wait a few minutes. Okay, now I can start my car. And I'm like, why would you put yourself in that predicament? Just obey the rules. If they say no drinking and driving, don't drink and drive. Go home. It's simple. Go home and drink. And party with your people. And go to bed. The point that I'm trying to make is stop putting yourself in predicaments where they have to monitor your life on a regular basis. Stop doing that. And this is what people do. Obey the laws. They make them for a reason. I mean, granted, sometimes we break them. I even break them sometimes. And it don't even be intentional. Like last night, I was trying to get away from that McDonald's so quick. I ran the damn light and looked over at the store, and there was 2 officers sitting in there. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to pull me over. They don't even know what I went through. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I ran the lights. I broke the law. But I was trying to get home because what transpired down at the McDonald's. All I could think is just go home. So if they would have pulled me over, even if I would have told them the story, I was still in the wrong. If you get what I'm saying, you know, we have to learn as Americans. You go to some of these other countries and they don't care. The police officers are not like our police officers. They will gun you down and it would be over with. We have a little bit more justice here in America than elsewhere. This is why all of the people come here. Because they're able to walk free. Even though we say, oh, it's not free, it's not free, it's not free. Like I put in my song, I get to walk free because I have ID. I don't know what song that was. I write so many songs, y'all. I don't even know. Oh, Lord. One of my songs. You know about me. I said I get to swim free because I got ID. I talk about Atlantic City. Because at one point when you go to Atlantic City, you have to show ID in order to get into certain areas. You have to prove that you stand in a hotel or show ID, you know. And if you don't have ID, you're not getting in. I know this for a fact because I was there with me and my daughter, and my daughter didn't have ID, and I kept trying to tell her, you know, Shaquana, if you're running with me, baby, you have to have ID because I go to places where they want to see who you are, you know, because they need to know every person that walks in this area is safe for the other people that's in the area. They don't do it because they want to harass you. They do it because they want to make sure that you safe, and they know that they can account for you. So my daughter couldn't get in because she didn't have ID. So I had to skip it because I didn't want her to be standing outside or doing something else, and she didn't have ID. Plus, I wanted to be with her just in case she ran into an officer and she didn't have ID. If I'm her mother and I'm with her, I can tell the officer, well, I'm her mom, you know, and her name is, we don't want no problems. Don't make things harder than what it is. We all know we need to walk around with ID. Get ID, people. Even if you can't get a driver's license at the time, just get ID. When you have an ID, they know you're a citizen. Okay. Yeah, she got one. All right. Yeah, that looked like the picture. Okay. Just like when I got pulled over by my light. My first thought was, oh, God, here we go. I don't know what type of officer I'm going to get. Is he going to be an a-hole, or is this going to go smooth sailing? But I'm not going to give him that negative attitude. Let's see how this goes. He came over. Do you know why I pulled you over? No. Your headlight is out. Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Can I have your ID and registration, please? Oh, yes. Here. I mean, there you go. Give it to him. He saw I was coming from work. I had my Amazon outfit on. So he knows. And that's the thing about police officers. When they pull up on you, they have to analyze because they don't know who you are. They don't know how you might react. So when they pull up on you, they have to analyze the situations. Okay? He pulled up on me. It's 10:30 at night. I'm in my Amazon outfit. So his first thought was, okay, she's coming from work. Okay, so she probably don't know she has a headlight out. All right, those Amazon people work hard. That's probably what he's saying in his mind. So she probably ain't pay no attention. Okay, so he goes and he saw that my insurance was good. He saw my driver's license was good. He came back and he says, okay, Miss Richardson, well, I'm going to just give you a warning. Here's your ID and, registration. Give you a warning. You just need to get that fixed because you be out here at nighttime coming, driving, and that needs to be fixed. I said, so you going to give me a written warning? He said, no, I'm giving you a verbal warning. He said, you want a written warning? I said, no. I said, thank you. I'll take the verbal warning because the verbal warning just says that he told me I need to get it done. The written warning would have been where I would have had to go prove that I got it done. So he left a step off for me, which was a blessing because I don't want to have to go fix it. And now I got to go to the precinct and say, yeah, look, I fixed my stuff, y'all. Okay. Now I got to wait for an officer to come view it. And no. So the verbal warning was like right up my alley. I was like, thank you. Have a good night. I pull off. I come home. I said, you know what? Let me fix this. So now I'm trying to figure it out. I got to get this together. So I get out there and I ain't had no money to be paying somebody to fix it. So I went out there and fixed it myself. Got to do what you got to do sometimes. Because the next officer might not be as nice. So you want to you don't want the police to even see you. You don't see me. My insurance is good. My license is good. Everything on my car is good. I'm not standing out because I don't want the drama. And see, that's the problem. A lot of people want to be seen. Sometimes you need not to be seen. You want the cops to look at you as just a regular civilian walking around. No, that's a regular one. That's a regular one. Wait, hold on. Look at this one over here. Because this is what they do on a daily basis. They're watching. They're trained to watch. See what's going on. Because they're here to serve and protect. That don't mean we got to be on a block kicking it with them. But they are here to serve and protect. And when they say move, we move. Because they have weapons to kill. And they have the right to kill. So if they say, clear the area, clear the area. That's just what you do. You listen. So they don't have to tell me. I goes. I tell them, oh, the cops got somebody pulled over. Because they ain't going to catch me speeding because they all over there. All right, fine, got to go. Because I don't know if somebody going to draw a gun. And once the ambulance touch base, because the ambulance is not coming on the scene until it's clear. They're the last ones on the scene. Because they didn't sign up. And they don't have weapons and anything to protect themselves. They didn't sign up for that. They sign up to help the sick or hurt. Their job is a little bit different. So once you see them on the scene, you can lurk a little bit and see what's going on. But other than that, if the police steps on the scene with a suspect, clear the area. Go home. Go home. I know we all want to be nosy. But that's what the news is for. That's what they get paid for, to be out there while the gunshots is going on. One person with a camera, another person talking. That's their job. Let them do their job if they want to put their lives on the line to get the news. We all want to tell the news first, but it could cost you your life. Think, people. Once you die, you're not coming back. Tell yourself, is this the job for me? Are the people going to listen to me? Do I have that authority type voice where people is going to say, okay, let's listen to this particular officer or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Or even when it comes to like this particular officer in LA, we don't know what he looked like. So people probably wasn't even listening to him. You know, people get so caught up in shopping. That's the American way. This is what we do. We get so caught up in shopping, we don't pay attention to nothing. So we always are supposed to listen and watch. Eyes and ears, always supposed to be alert when we're out there. You know, every day I leave my house, I say a prayer. Because there's so much going on out there, you know, we got to pray about it every day. I ask God to protect me from the coronavirus and the other viruses or diseases. I ask Jehovah to protect me in any establishment that I'm in, meaning any building that's covered, or the park, wherever I touch down. I ask him to keep me safe. In prayer. Every single day. Because it's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there because of the people that we deal with. And this is why we got to continue to teach. And this is why we have to change some of these laws. Because it doesn't make it easier for us to maintain a stable lifestyle if the laws are there to hurt us instead of help us. Like when that judge told me that about the disabled, I was floored. I said, so you telling me that once y'all let the disabled out of the hospital for 2 weeks, if they don't have nowhere to go, they roam. You got to be kidding me. Now, in New York, the way they do them is if they in the hospital, and I don't know if New York keeps them for 30 days like they used to, because I know medical has been kind of, short in America. But they used to keep them for 30 days. They let them detox. They let them, whatever they need to do. And then they see a social worker and find out, do they have housing? Do they have somewhere to go? And then they'll put them somewhere temporarily and until they find an apartment for them in a disabled building. Okay? And I'm talk about it real quick. When I used to go to Harlem, my daughter's husband, he was disabled, and God bless his soul because he passed away. But he lived in a building where everybody had some type of disability. It was only like a studio. It was only big enough for him. But New York made sure that that disabled person was not on the street. And that they had an address. Because they can't be with the rest of the people. They got to be with their kind. Okay? They can't be running all over the city. If the police already have enough work to do with the people that just want to act out. And then they got to deal with the disabled too. Don't make sense locking the disabled up because they're disabled mentally. I mean, like, really. But you want to let them roam and target people because they're bored or whatever their mind is going through? No, that has to change in North Carolina, especially if I stay here. Because I'm not walking around with the mental ill. I'm not doing it. So that's something that has to change. If it takes for me to continue to meet bigger and better people to help get housing for these people, whatever it takes. Because they can't roam the street. They just can't. A disabled person can't even go get an apartment. They have to go on a list like the projects, like everybody else. And when they do that, they have to wait like anybody else. Now, the way New York housing works, and I tell you a lot about New York because they're so big and they need order. And it's still hard for them to get order. But we have to look at the things that they've been successful at and bring that into other states. Okay? The way they categorize everything is, first people that need to be helped is homeless. Get them off the streets. Second people is disabled. Third people is the working people. And working people always come last because, one, we have a way to help ourselves. But New York has found that why put working people in a bad situation when they don't have to be? So they have evaluations where they'll evaluate your situation, and if they can pull you in quicker than the homeless or the disabled, because they have mastered it so much to where now the working people can become top of the line. They have it where they can send the homeless to be safe. They have shelters all around the city. They have disabled places all over the place around the city for the disabled people. But what do they have for the working person? So they have mastered it, and I'm going to just be honest with you. The way they run their shelter systems is terrible. You know, I was told being in a shelter system, because I didn't get high or drink, I couldn't be there. So in other words, hurry up and get a job and get your butt on out of here. The projects will help you out. Because they cater to the working people. Because we can't do nothing for you. These are for the people that have issues going on. That can't maintain life. You're able to maintain life because you're not drinking, you're not on drugs. You just lost your job, you lost your house. Now it's time for you to get another job, okay, and then get back out there and get in the midst of stuff. But I was disappointed. Like, why can't I get help? Why I have to be a drug addict or somebody that's that's doing wrong in order to get some help? No, we don't want you with these people. You got to get yourself together. Go. You'll be all right. And they was right. Eventually, I was all right. There's still people in the shelter that was in the shelter with me. But I had to learn their process. Some of these states are so behind because they haven't experienced a large mass of people. Because they don't know what to do. That's why we can't fault the government for not knowing what to do unless there's hold. This is why I made this commitment to my government and allowing them to understand what's going on out here so they're able to help us the proper way. Because if they don't know, they can't help us. Just like I tell my daughter, let me know everything, what's going on in school. I'm just using school as a example. Because if you don't tell me, I'm not going to know. Because I'm doing some stuff over here. And if you don't bring this to my attention, why would I even look into it? I'm thinking it's okay. Why break something that's okay? You got to look at the theory of it, people. If nobody's complaining about something, they think it's okay. In order for them to help us, we got to complain. I mean, they have said it to where they say, oh, complaining is like being a Karen and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to your life and it comes to the well-being of other human beings, we must complain. But they have a way that we complain. It's not that we're protesting, and before it even get to that, this is where we need to write our governor, let him know what we're seeing, put our true concerns out there. Before you start writing about what you're upset about, think about what you've done first. You try to handle it first. And then if you can't handle it, that's when we take that step above to get help from our government. That's what they're there for. I had somebody tell me, oh, the rules are the rules and there's nothing we can do about it. I laughed at her. I had to laugh at her. Like, really? Yeah. If that's what you want to think, then you continue to think that. I come from a bigger city. I know what can be done. I'll handle my situation, and I'll give you the tools to handle yours. If you feel like you want to see a miracle happen. Because they don't know until they're told. This is why I'm on here right now telling you guys about how the police works. Because nobody told y'all. And y'all think that, oh, it's just the police. He comes on scene. We don't have to. We want to be nosy. We want to see what's going on. Oh, we wouldn't know. Once they come, when them people, I don't want to say the man in blue, because like our sheriffs, some of them wear beige. So I just want to say an officer of authority. We all know officers with authority. They come in with this uniform. They have guns on their side. They may have a taser. They have a badge. You know officer authority when you see one. This is why we always take the kids 2 places. To the police stations and let them view the police. Take them to the fire stations and let them view the fire department. That's in every state. Okay, they have that. What's that? Oh, geez. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm sorry. But the fire department normally has a class. They come out and teach the kids about fire. And it's a dog. I forget the dog name. I've been to the class so much I can't believe I forgot. Because I always take my kids to this particular class with the fire department, so they'll get to know about what a police officer or officer authority looks like. You know, and they love it. The cops love it when the kids run up to them and say, "You have any of those things?" And you know, because they know that the kids recognize that they are officer of authority. We must teach our children what the officer of authority means. We must teach them that they should not be afraid of an officer of authority because they are there to help them. That's what they signed up for. This is why we pay taxes. So the government can pay all the organizations that's out there to help us. So know your part as a citizen of America. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about focusing on knowing your part and what you put in. Because, you know, people, they run from paying taxes. And I said, what are you running for? The more taxes you pay, the more junk you can talk. Because the first thing they're going to say is, this person a taxpayer? Yep. Ooh, damn, yeah, they are. A lot of taxes, too. Ooh, let them talk. Let's see what they talking about. But if you ain't a taxpayer, you can't be running your lips. Because you don't know what's really going on out here. And that's just what it is. I mean, you can voice your opinions. Somebody else can see. You know, God, let me tell you something. And I'm just being honest. I used to go to work every single day. Sick, tired, hurting, every day. And I'll be at the market, and I would see people shopping. They eating lobster. They eating all kind of stuff. Stuff that I couldn't even afford because guess what? The government done took their money in taxes. And they eating all this stuff. I used to feel some kind of way. Oh, I would have attitude. Attitude. But God had to put me in a situation so I can get some food stamps. And I can live that glorious life. And I was like, okay, understand. But then I also understand how the taxpayer feel. Okay. But they got to wait every month to eat. I can eat every Friday. The day food going is gone. Working person, we get paid. We'll rob Peter to pay Paul to make sure we eat. Because if we don't eat, we can't go to work because we be tired. Or sick. So I had to look at the facts of both sides. God had to put me on both sides so I could see. You can't help people if you don't get to see or you've never physically been through it. That's why we tell people don't judge, because you haven't walked the shoes of that person. You don't know what they're going through, mentally or physically. The other thing is these kids. I'm going to touch base on that this week too. Upcoming year, we got to do something about these kids. Because they getting out of hand. And I don't want to go to jail. And that's just me. Because I'm going to pop mine. And that's the thing. These laws that they keep making. And I keep telling people, it's a difference between abuse and chastising your children. I know because I was firsthand at living in an abusive home where the abuse took place with me and my brother lost his life. It's a difference. And when you go out here working every day and almost losing your life to take care of these children and give them the best, and then they turn around and talk to you and hit you and do all kind of things to you, and then the courts want to say it's your fault, we got to change that too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things. These kids need discipline. Because as soon as you go into court, they're looking at you. As soon as an officer is trying to tell your child to do something and they're not obeying, they blame it on you, not the child. So we have to stand strong with trying to get the government to see there's a difference between abuse and discipline. Those rules have to go away. Or a lot of parents is going to be in jail. Because people are getting tired of children not listening. Now, we don't know what was going on in LA. Was that child not listening to the parents or the officer? I mean, I'm not sure because I wasn't there. But I'm just using that as a scenario. Why did that child get a stray bullet in the presence of an officer? Okay, we've talked about these young kids out here shooting their guns and they haven't been to the gun range to learn how to shoot. But why is it this child got shot in the presence of an officer by a stray bullet? Something transpired where people wasn't listening and thinking. This is Jacqueline Richard Simmons, JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I'm about to end this podcast because my mind is just running. I get disgusted when I hear a child has been hurt because they haven't even lived life yet. I love you all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.